Here's my favorite goat, Flecken. Well, I'm back at this. I have to. She's been crippled ever since she was about half a year old, and she just, oh man, she's had babies. She's a grandmother now. She likes to be loved. Anyway, and an old buck. He's seen better days. He's lost his fights with the young bucks. All right, and there comes Sky. She's gonna have babies real soon. There comes another young buck. He's in a little better shape, but the main buck he defeated them all. Anyway, I'm now rotating that top piece a little less than 180 degrees, but it's so easy. I thought I'd show you this. I don't know a name for the technique, and I don't know really if I can show it with just one hand. I'm the other hand holding the camera, but I'm going to try, because it is just, I thought this might be a little tricky to do. Actually, with just a single bar, it is so easy. Let's see if I can show this. Yeah, I think you ought to be able to see that. I do one side, and then I go to the other side, and as it gets off, if it gets a little bit off center, I can easily nudge it back. It may be too dark to see this, but I'd really like you to be able to see this. Did I use the word shoehorning? That's going to be my name for this technique. It's just so easy to do, and I'll bet surely cavemen knew how to do this. They wouldn't have used it in this situation. Well, they wouldn't have had this situation, but just so easy. All right, that's shoehorning, is what I call it. What do you think, buddy? I don't mean to make too much of this, but it's just so easy. It's like rowing a boat. And you know, and as I say, there has to be a name for this technique. But whether there's a name or not, I'm sure it's been widely known or stumbled across, sort of like I did. Well, that top piece finally just tipped into place. And why I paused here is because another thing that I'm sure has been known from time, what do you say, immemorial, is that if you have a really heavy object, but it's teetering, you can move either side of it up and down very easily because it balances. And that's the case now. This should be quite an easy matter now of just waiting, moving it gradually until it's only held up by a little bit of a shim on the far side. Here's Dankeschön, and he approves. He thinks it's good. He's interested in wondering he's wondering a little bit where his mama is, but he's doing real well. Watching the whole job. and it just, that was just so easy, it's scary. It just dropped right into place. And now back to the sawhorses and that last piece, which I say I can lift. I think I can lift it. We'll see about that. Looking for mama. Well, it's a dark day, and so I'm not sure how well you can see this, but I got it. I didn't just deadlift it up. I used a ramp to get it up onto sawhorses, and I took a lot of time. Maybe I'll go around the other side, and maybe you'll be able to see better. There's a story about attached to why those bolts right there are so long that I used to draw it in. As soon as I had one knot on one of those bolts, I knew I was going to be okay. But anyway, the reason they're so long is because I fed them in from this side and then fed this onto them instead of trying to reach through, because you know, and I have to draw them up, and then I'll cut them off probably. Yeah, I don't know if I'll cut them off or not. But anyway, oh, and another thing to tell you, the reason that this is funny shaped like that, you might realize, is because there was a shroud that went around it, a sheet metal shroud. And and that was to be on the outside. And this is the flue. This, I think, is the draft check, although I had misunderstood that in the past. I'll have to see if I can. I wonder if that's a patch or a label. Anyway, the story is that when on the second time I moved it, I reached in through here. There was a real big, strong guy with me, but he was too big to be able to do it. And I reached through in there as far as I could with my long arms to feed those bolts through. And I heard a snap, and that was my rib. Don't you hate that when you hear and feel some bone of your body snap? And then I had to try to get myself out of there, having broken a rib. It's one of those things. I continued to work, but I was hurting. So anyway, it left a memory, and I didn't feel like trying to feed those bolts in again. So I left long ones in there. It was a better way to do it. Well, nice for the chicken. There's Sky. There's Flecken. There's one of the old bucks. Here's Heidi. I think she's getting old, but I think she's getting real ready to have babies. All right, and let's see, up there's another chicken just kind of watching. And up there is, what's his name? I can't remember. My nephew, Marshall is his name. My nephew named him. All right, this is just part 2 because I've got more. I'll put the doors on, and there's more that I want to say about this furnace. But it's been moved. It's restacked. Bye for now.